Blog Talk Radio.
You have tuned into an emergency, state of emergency
here we go.
Show for On The Move Unscripted because, actually it was initiated by Kim. She just felt like we really needed to talk to our listeners, you know, and who's ever watching the media, the news, and just seeing all the protests and the violence that's going on. So I'm glad you tuned in. For those of you who are listening and for those who come back later and listen, you know, we hope that we say something or something comes out of this that will be a help in some kind of way. So, Kim, you on the line?
I am.
Okay.
I definitely am.
And I think Marie's on the line. So you called this emergency meeting, and I'm sure it's because of everything that's going on right now across the country. We actually just talked about this on our show on Thursday, and things have really escalated since our show Thursday.
Right. That is exactly why I called this one, and I know sometimes I tend to be winded, and this will be one of those days that I will be winded. So and I'm asking permission right now, if you just allow me to just say whatever needs to be said, whatever's put in my spirit to say, because, again, it was put in my spirit to call this emergency live, and I appreciate you for doing so. I don't have to remind us of what is going on, what has been going on. I don't have to remind us how we feel about it, how it is affecting us emotionally, psychologically. I don't have to remind us about that. But what I do need to remind us of is history. I do need to remind us of positioning. I do need to remind us of strategy, and why it is so important to fuck your feelings, why it is so important to raise your vibration, why it has been necessary for me to keep repeating these things, why I've always said the more you hear something, the more your brain receives that information as truth, as fact, and it processes it accordingly. It causes one's behavior to change the more you hear something. It's been very deliberate. It's been very on purpose, with purpose, the way things have been presented to you. So with all that has been going on, all that has escalated in just a matter of hours even, a matter of hours, again, I give much respect to those who are not just sitting still, not just laying down, taking it. You got mad respect from me, mad love. However, as I've been stating, and I'm not going to back off my words saying that we need to defend ourselves, because we definitely do that, and I'm not going to renege on that. I'm standing firm on that. But defending ourselves does not look like looting. It does not look like burning down somebody else's shit. It does not look like destroying other people's stuff. It does not look like stealing out of the stores. It does not look like spending $500 on tennis shoes. It don't look like that. It doesn't look like picketing outside the stores. It doesn't look like just boycotting a day of shopping. It doesn't look like that. It means defending yourself when there is immediate danger going on with you, with us as a collective. Defend yourself. But in order to defend yourself from any enemy, you have to know how you are being attacked. And you have to be prepared to counterattack in the necessary and the proper form. People right now are responding in emotion, and that is the biggest and the most dangerous weapon that you can use or allow to be used against you. How you feel, if you respond off of how you feel, you're responding off of an emotion, you are being played by those emotions. It is preventing you from understanding, from understanding the facts. It's preventing you from getting the information. It's preventing you from being able to strategize, to get a plan, to see what is actually happening, because you're moving based on how you feel, based on a current circumstance, which will change in anything. You are operating in something that is not stable, which means your mentality is not stable, which means you are not able to function in stability, which means you are doing things solely out of a temporary sensation that does not exist. This is what's causing the damage to us. We keep repeating cycles. This is why history is repeating, because we keep doing the same shit the same way. The same shit the same way is insanity when you expect a different result. So, yes, I am imploring my people and anybody fighting on behalf of my people to stop what you're doing and pay attention to how you are being used to perpetuate the agenda because you're operating in your feelings. Don't you know the enemy has studied us every day, every moment? They study us. They study how we think. They study how we move, how we eat, how we sleep, what we purchase. They study our emotions, what ticks us off, what makes us happy, what makes us spend money, what makes us retaliate, what makes us violent. They study that. So what are we doing? We are showing them exactly how to attack. We have no idea what our enemies are doing to prepare for the attack on us because we are retaliating on how we feel. We are blinded by the emotions. The facts are missing. The information is skipped over because our feelings have blinded all of that. It's got in the way. Again, I repeat, your feelings. Feelings falsify facts. I cannot emphasize that anymore. Raise your vibration. Get in your God vibration, 963 megahertz. This is how we get the information that we need as a divine download. This is how we're told what we need to do, how we need to do it. This is how we get that information. This is how we combat the enemy, not telling the enemy where we're going to be, what we're going to do, how to fight against them. Showing face like that lets everybody know who exactly is out here. What is the count? How many do we need to prepare for? You are putting your face in the face of the enemy. You are making yourself accessible to the enemy. You are volunteering yourself to the enemy without any plan of defense. You cannot defend yourself that way. It is completely back-ass work, the way people are handling this right now. This is not it.
So,
I totally understand. Hold up. I totally understand why people feel the way they feel. I understand that sensation. I understand the anger. I understand the hurt and disappointment. I get that. I get it. But what we can't keep doing, one, is filming it and just passing it along because that incites more emotion and people are not going beyond their emotion. They're responding strictly off of how they feel. We already know what's happening. What do we do about it? Get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. Pay attention to what the strategy of your enemy is. Pay attention because we're being utilized as the puppet to destroy ourselves. We're volunteering for genocide.
Okay, so can I jump in here real quick? Can I jump in real quick? Okay. So I just want to say in response, and we talked about this last Thursday when we were first talking about the George Floyd incident. And we were talking about, what do we do because, African Americans are tired of being abused, all that kind of stuff. We talked about that. But I also said violence is not the way. And everybody does not interpret and understand when you say violence is not the way. Their first thought is to go out and react off of emotions. And you say, don't act off of emotions, but we are built on emotions. That's who we are. That's who we are. So everybody is not understanding and internalizing it the way that they need to. All of this violence that's going on right now, you cannot conquer hate with hate. You cannot conquer violence with more violence, which only leads to more violence, which only leads to more devastation, which only leads to worse and worse and worse. And then at the end of the day, once you have tore up your community, because mind you, that's what you're doing. You're tearing up your community. So now you were hurting before, but you're going to be hurting even worse afterwards, because now the very places that you used to work and used to eat and used to play and used to pray, you can't even do it there anymore because you have tore up your community. You have tore up everything. I saw a post with an African-American man crying out like, I understand your pain. I understand your hurt, but why are you tearing up my business? I already have had to go through COVID-19 and trying to rebuild from that, and now I am devastated. I have nothing. That is not the way to win the war. That is not the way to win the fight. You have to use your brain, intelligence. We have too many churches out here with all these pastors. We got too many elected people in Congress. All of these people need to get together. Every freaking chief from every precinct around the country, they need to call an emergency meeting. They need to bring all of them in. They need to bring these pastors in. They need to get Trump and his administration. They need to sit down in some damn office, and they need to figure this shit out. They need to figure out how they're going to bring peace. And not only that, they need to bring justice. They know darn well that those 4 officers or 3 officers, or however many was out there, that allowed that to continue and did not stop him, they're as guilty as the man who had his knee on his neck. So they need to do justice the way justice should be done, and then they need to have a meeting, and they need to figure out how they can change these rules, change these laws, change these policies, put legislation, or do whatever you got to do, and figure out how you are going to get peace back in your land. Because if you don't do that, and this continues, then only thing that's going to happen is you got a president who don't give a damn about you, and he has already told them if they loot, shoot. He don't give a fuck about y'all. So he's going to call in the freaking National Guard, who has already gave orders to, and they're going to come and start annihilating people, and there's going to be a serious civil war on our hands. And in the end of it all, we don't have no kind of anything to fight against it. So it's going to be us jack the fuck up, and still nothing's changed. This fighting, anger, I understand it. I'm not saying I don't understand. We got to speak out. We're tired of it. I understand that. I know that. I get that. But hate is not the way to conquer hate. I said it on Thursday, and the proof is in the pudding. I don't even really got to say nothing no more, because you can look at it. You can see it all over, everywhere you go. Chicago, Atlanta, New York, Columbus, Ohio, L.A. They're going out there, and they're doing the very thing that is not going to work. And what you said, Kim, is true. They have done this over and over again, and it has not worked. It has never worked. And we're still the same way we were. Maybe it's a little different, but we're still in that same situation as we were back in the 60s. That is not going to work. The leaders of this country need to get together, get out their fucking feelings, and sit down and figure out how they're going to bring peace back to this land before it gets so far out of control that we're back to the 1800s with a fucking civil war on our hands. That's what they need to do. That's what needs to happen. But hate and crime and tearing up your community and all that crazy stuff, that's not going to lead to nothing but more devastation, more pain, more hurt, more tears, more lives, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, the racist people still going to be there. Those police officers still going to be there. No policy is going to be changed, and nothing's going to be different. So everyone needs to stop tearing up your damn community and figure out how we can move forward. Reach out to your pastors. Every Sunday we go to church, and we pray for these pastors who have mega churches. They need to all get together, figure out, get the NAACP, get Trump and his people, and all the people. They need to do a meeting and figure out how they're going to bring peace back to this fucking land. That's what they need to do. All this other stuff is bringing attention. Yeah, it's bringing devastation. Yeah, it's bringing all that other stuff, but it's not bringing a solution. That's my thing.
Not only that, but while they're tearing up the State House, the City Hall, it's the taxpayers that's going, because they got to fix it. And the money's got to come from somewhere. And since the crime came from the people, our city taxes, that shit, when it goes up, it's because of all the things that were damaged. You know, and then when you tear up your community, and like the guy on Thursday, was named Cedric, that said, Oh, well, we ain't the ones owning it. But you know what? We were the ones owning it. You can't get mad at people if they decide. Now, there were some that they have overridden where they couldn't pay. But you also had some that were doing other things other than what they were supposed to be doing out of their storefront. I mean, then you got some when these Iranians came in and other people, other ethnic groups came in and started purchasing stuff. Black people cannot get mad because they didn't come here because I can't tell you how many Africans that don't like America. They love the opportunity. So when they get ready to go back home and retire, they have their people together. When they get paid, they send money back. We're the only ones. Now, right now, we're banding together. But we're banding together for what? It's crazy because it was a lot of people in my neighborhood, and it was a peaceful march. And they're arguing, and they're mad, but I also, they're also smoking. I smell trees in the air, people drinking. You cannot say that, you cannot tear up your community. Because when you try to go out to a more suburban community, for one, they're not on that shit. For two, they're watching your every move. Yes, it's Iranians that own these corner stores where I live by, but you know what? Assalamu alaikum. They've done nothing to me. They've been nothing but polite to me. I've been nothing but polite to them. Does that mean all Iranians are polite or whatnot? I don't know. I haven't met all. But the ones that I go to the store or to carry out every day or at least 2-3 times a week, they're there. And I'm greeted. And I'm greeted respectfully. And some of our people that's acting up, I'm pissed about what happened to that young man. I am pissed because I have sons. I have a lot of grandsons. And so I'm worried because it's like I sat back and I tried to think. I can't even name 5 young white boys, 5 Caucasian young white boys between the ages of 13 and 24. I can't name 5 or think of 5 that has been killed by the hands of a black police officer. But it's so many of our people that, you can't even name them. You can't even name them all. Because every year, right before this black man was killed by the officer, then the former officer and his son, a couple of months ago, killed another black man jogging in the neighborhood, or looking in an empty house. And then the man that taped it, I'm glad that the man did tape it, but what the hell was you doing taping, following this black man? I'm glad you did and did the honorable thing and turned the information over to the police, but you were taping him because you didn't trust him either. Because that's the only thing that you was taping. But at least he didn't try to end that man's life. They're going to have to do something, but the National Guards are here. Trump then said that if the protesters don't leave off the White House, he's going to have vicious dogs attack them. That's what he said.
History repeating itself. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, ever since we came over here,
the mindset of our people have not changed. The mindset of our people have not changed. The vibrations of our people have not risen. That's why we keep repeating these cycles. We're not doing anything differently. We're not doing anything differently.
I think this younger generation that's up and going, because usually when the police get to spraying, police get to running, they sprayed Thursday night, Friday night, and the kids ran off. They ran back to the air clear, and they came right back. They're not backing down. We had an alert emergency that hit my phone today, probably around between 11 and noon, because they backed down there, back at it. But for people who have built their lives trying to just have something where they could sell something to people, like the storefronts that were busted and the restaurants that were busted up, they didn't do anything. They did not do, and there was a white man on TV like, I feel sorry for the guy. He said, I have a kid, so I would be upset as well. I understand why they're upset. He said, I do, but I don't know that cop, so why does my store have to suffer? He said, I'm barely recovering from COVID-19. So, we have to think, we're allowing our feelings, like Kim said, to overact. I'm like, and then please don't think there's no cameras downtown. Because the minute the air cleared, they're going through these cameras, they matching these faces up, checking the database, and if they're on the database at all or recognizable at all, their ass is charged with federal crime. You can't just tear the state house and stuff up.
Yeah, can I chime in?
Somebody do that. Yes, you have the floor.
Okay, I just want to say greetings. My name is Matt, M-A-T-T. I'm calling from New Orleans, and I usually listen to different programs on Blog Talk Radio, and I came across your program that sounds very intense. I just want to just contribute to the topic. I want to say that at this point where we are now, giving a crash course to people who are emotionally upset is kind of, at this point, too late. It is what it is. And by being preoccupied with the violent reaction on the part of many throughout the country, kind of takes us away. The enemy gets us away from the real issue, and that is the police culture of no immunity. I mean, of being allowed to do whatever they want. That's not being talked about. And what we're doing is when you look at the history of protests in America, even the civil rights movement, the same people who are condemning these young people today, they were doing it back then. The same language. They are violent. They are outside. They are outsiders in these protests that has to be considered. You do have anarchist groups that are coming in, okay? And these are mostly white. These are white youth. And it's interesting enough, the government they're knowing who they are, but they don't put them in federal prisons. And so we have to not lose focus of what this is. Kind of like your child go to school, and your child is bullied. And one day your child just can't take it no more and cut up at the school and just attempt to deal with the bullies. You as the parent know your child, the reason why your child acted the way they did. Okay, so you're not going to allow the people to only focus on your child and your child's behavior at that moment. This is the same thing here. We are being diverted from an issue that ultimately they don't want to address. So the victims are being looked upon as the evil ones. And we have to understand that and stay focused on the fact that this violence is a reaction from other violence. If you listen to Martin Luther King's speeches about those who rioted, he does not condemn them. He puts it in a context. And see, people are misusing King. The conservative element, black and white, are misusing King as if King would be on their side. The problem with black faces in high places is that they have no more connection with the community. These children don't know who they are. We're so drunk on white people's money and access to things close to white people. We have exploited our own communities to be where we are. And now we want to stand on a podium and preach down to them about how to behave. You understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying, and what you're saying is definitely true.
Yeah, and so we have to understand that this situation, the people who are in power, this is their responsibility to control themselves. Call their dogs off of black people, killing black people on police departments because it's fun and because they can get away with it. That's where the anger should constantly be on, not on our people, not on our young people out here who are reacting like black people always did in the 60s. In fact, if you look at some of these black people who are out in the streets, they are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of black people who did it in Detroit, Los Angeles, and watching all of that. Mm-hmm. You see, and so do not let people bully us with some moral gavel as if they are high and righteous and this whole kind of thing. These are wicked people. Let me give you an example. Exactly. They're using black businesses as a disproportionate victims of these fires. Where were these people when black businesses couldn't get the small business loans under the stimulus package?
Right.
You didn't hear no story on that. But now they want to highlight the few black businesses that may exist in these areas as being disproportionately victims of the fire. These are wicked people. Mm-hmm. You see, and so we cannot let them dictate to us how we should respond and how we should be angry. If some black people decide to go throw a rock through a window and set a fire, Malcolm X used to tell us parable about the house slave and the field slave. And he said when the field slaves would set a fire on the plantation, the master would go to the house slaves and say, could you put that out, Ben? And Ben would say, no, master, I can't put the fire out because I didn't start it. Don't let the master use you to put the fire out that he started. Exactly. They are responsible for this mess, not our children. Don't let our children be sacrificial lambs.
And I agree with you what you're saying, but the issue is this generation right here, this generation of young people is on a whole different level. They're on a whole different. I mean, we as parents already complain about our generation, our children and our grandchildren. We say they ain't like how we were, and then our parents will say to us, "You ain't like how we were." So this generation right here, they don't have no stop button. That's the issue. So once it gets started, it's going to take the leaders in this country to stop it because they're not going to stop. They're going to keep because they don't have whatever that ingredient is that we have or that our parents had or grandparents, whatever that is. They ain't got that. They don't give a damn. These young people do not care. They're not the same type of plantation slave type kids it was back in the day. These right here. This generation right here, they're filled with a whole bunch of gangs, half of them in gangs, the other half on the street. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They found something to fight for. They have been fighting each other forever. Now they got something to fight for. They don't care. But somebody, the leaders in this country, the pastors, the Congress people, the police stations, all those, they got to get together and they got to do something. And they got to do
let me say this, baby. Let me say this. That might be a good thing. That our young people, in a certain sense, are out of control. Because it means that they are not, as human beings, they are not geared to be anybody's servant and slave. That might be some of the ancestors coming out in them. Because we have failed to provide them with something. We have failed to build a world for them.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And so,
You're right, but if something doesn't happen, if the leaders don't get into place and start doing something quick, you're going to have a civil war on your hands without a doubt, because your president does not give a damn. He has already given. Let me explain something to you. He has given an order to the military. He has told them, we're on standby. If you need us to come in, we're going to come in. If they loot, what did he say? If they loot, what did he say? He told them.
Shoot. When the looting starts, the shooting starts.
Thank you. And so if the young people that we got right now decide that they want to shoot back and everybody it's going to be, you ain't seen devastation yet. So these leaders need to get in place and they need to do it quick.
Let me say this.
It's not just not on the leaders, though, Patricia. See, this is.
But somebody got to take. Somebody got to take.
But listen. But it's not just on them. You understand? They are in a position because they also have an agenda to follow. They have a purpose. They're in there to do whatever their job description says for them to do. We too busy trying to, like I said on Thursday, we too busy trying to ease ourselves and be equal to the people in the system, or be equal to the people who run the system, who control the system, who built the system, trying to be equal to what we're greater than that. We need to be trying to get the fuck out of that system, period. It's not going to help us. The system is the oppressor. The system is an issue. The system is not going to help us. We cannot look to that mapper and ask for way to get free. It ain't happening.
But
fucking cord at this point.
Right now, as we speak, our governor is about to do an emergency meeting of breaking news. So I don't know, because I do know the National Guards are here and they are on standby.
What state are you in?
I'm in the state
We're
of
in Ohio.
Oh, you're in Columbus?
Columbus,
yes.
Ohio.
Yeah, I had a cousin live there. She came back to New Orleans, and there's a lady who owns a restaurant near me here in New Orleans who's from there, and her son was killed by the police in Columbus at an apartment complex or something. Her and her husband often talks about that there. So I'm familiar with some of the. Huh?
Do you remember her son's name?
Well, her name is Elaine Valentine. That's her name. And the son was visiting up there. Because, see, Elaine is from Columbus, but she would also come back. And Elaine is about in her mid-50s maybe. And she would often come back to New Orleans because her mom was from New Orleans, and her mom had moved to Columbus. Her mom had married a man from Columbus and moved there. And Elaine and her brothers and sisters were raised there. But her son, not too long ago, and I guess if you Google her name, Elaine Valentine, son killed, you may come across that time, because I did it one time. But they talk about the son was in an apartment complex, and the police tried to something. Anyway, they killed him, and that was a big issue. And in their restaurant, they have a nice painting of the son in the restaurant.
I definitely know that the main problem right now, without a shadow of a doubt, is the police. There was a period of time when the police were instructed. I'm talking about right now. What we're talking about right now. There was a period of time when the police were instructed to disable, shoot at the legs, stop them from running, disable them. But now it's as if the police have been instructed to kill them. I mean, it's just like. The problem is definitely. I mean, I'm not talking about all the stuff that's in the government and all the issues, all the others. I'm talking about the police brutality right now, because that's what this whole big blow up is about. It's about the Walter Scotts and the Eric Gardners, and it's about the Jamar Clarks and the Jeremy McDowells and the William Chapmans and the Tamir Rice and Eric Harris and it's all the people from Glenda Castile and Alton Sterling. It's about all of them. This has been going on for so freaking long that I understand the people's anger.
It started when we were voted over. They've been killing black people at will, and it hasn't stopped ever since. The only difference is that now people have cameras on their phone. If we would have never had cameras on our phone, the police would have continued with their killings and their police brutality. But now they're being recorded, and now so many people is so worldwide, they must be held accountable. So
they have to be. Yes.
What is the atmosphere in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
What's the atmosphere in New Orleans?
Wait, I'm sorry. Hey, baby.
I said, what's the atmosphere in New Orleans?
Well, there are some marches taking place now downtown, but it's not nowhere intense as it is in other places. Nowhere intense. I would say in the southern region, Dallas and Atlanta, at this point, from looking at the news, may be the more intense places. And remember, Dallas and Atlanta have large populations, and a lot of people originally come from other places to live there. So they're bringing in a different kind of mentality in those places, Yeah. Memphis too. I understand Memphis had a protest too. I understand last night.
The other issue is and I don't know who they are. I don't know if they are policemen or they are part of one of these, KKK type. I don't know who it is, but it's not just our young people and people protesting is out there destroying.
That's right.
They have captured officers or people that they believe is officers, people who are doing this. And I remember they were saying that back when Michael Brown in Ferguson, they were saying that there were people that were coming that were destroying to make it seem like it was the protesters, the African Americans or whatever, but it wasn't. It was other people. They got this man on camera walking around destroying stuff, and they called him out, and they said, "You're a policeman. Why are you destroying stuff?"
Yeah, the Ace Hardware in Minneapolis, they're saying that guy is a cop, Jacob Peterson, but from St. Paul, Minnesota, across the river. Now, the St. Paul police are saying it's not true, but you do have several white paramilitary anarchists who look for the opportunity to call catfish. And see, where we so kind of messed up as black people, we see white people out there potentially joining us, and we just embrace them. But see, we need to start asking who these people are. You see, not just embracing them into the situation. You know,
we talked about that on Thursday. We think differently. Our brains think differently. We are right brain thinkers as opposed to them being left brain thinkers. We think about joining everybody together. We want to be unified. We want to, make things work. That ain't how they think. They are about self. They are about, let's just get this done. They are about logic and fact, where we are about the feelings and the emotions. But let me address something real quick that it may not really be known, and I brought it up a while ago about even the term black, and I don't even know what made me start saying it over again. The term black in itself does not even apply to us. If you look at every word, every dictionary, every definition of the word, one of those definitions says without hue, a lack of hue, lack of color. We keep accepting the definitions of this. It's a character. Everything that is applied to the word black is negative. Everything is negative applied to that.
But remember,
we have accepted that characteristic or those characteristics as our identity when they don't even fit. They fit the other people who assigned it to us. We're not the ones that's going out here lynching folks. We're not the ones that's initiating all this violence. We're not the ones that's doing this shit. But we've accepted the definition of those people. That's not who we are. We are accepting consequences of a people that don't belong to us.
Well, I got a question. I got a question. When did police come into play? When did it start? How did police come about? I'm trying to understand. Like, I understand
overseers. Did they have overseers, slavery, overseer. KRS-One told you, overseer, officer. It's the same damn thing.
It was the plantation overseers who became policemen. Is that what you're saying? The police started from
overseer and officer is the same thing.
Well,
you got to remember that these people work for somebody. They are under the control and manipulation also of the runners and creators of the system. They are also puppets.
Let me address that. I want to address that also.
Let him address that, Tim.
Yeah, I want to address two things about. First, I want to address the word.
Mike, can I say something, please?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me mute everybody. So we have another caller. So let him hold on one second. Let me mute everybody so that you can have your piece. And please tell us where you're calling.
Yes, I appreciate you taking my call. I am a journalist, and I'm American, but I'm in Singapore right now. My heart is like everybody's heart. It goes with my beloved country, United States, and what it has happened, this was a false flag operation. And what it was, they paid him to do this event so they can create civil war in United States of America. This is a trap for all of us. If you look at it the way they put the guy, George Floyd, into the ambulance, usually before that you have to have a shock. That he has no pulse or something. They did not give him the correct treatment. They did not, usually they're ready. They give him some kind of injection to the heart so the heart can pump again. They left. The way they took him, it was disgrace to America. It's like, they give him the fourth-class citizen treatment in this country. So this is, to me, all of them was a stage. All of them was a forced flag operation. And this guy, when they capture him, for example, for third-degree murder, and his wife is Miss Minnesota, and she divorced on the same day. Everything is fishy. If I am wrong, me.
That's a fact.
So what you're saying is, and you know what? I will say this to piggyback off of what you said. That officer and George worked in the same club. They worked in the same club on the same days, on the same shifts. So there's no way in the world. That officer worked there, from what they say, for 17 years, and George worked there for about a year, and they just really stopped working. I think the owner had just sold the company. So there's no way in the world that officer had never seen that man before or did not remember him. They may not have spoken, they may not have had tea together, but they saw each other, and they recognized. You can't work somewhere for a whole freaking year and work with people and not recognize who they are, even if you don't know their name. That's deep, what you said. And the fact that they did not perform CPR on him the way that they needed to do, or do the things that they need to do to try to resuscitate him, that is deep. And that's crazy for you. You're not even in this country. And for you to see that and say that, that's deep. So what you're saying is we have fallen into the very traps that they were set for us. That, like, this was a plan. This is what you're saying. This is what you feel.
Yes. Yes, exactly, by Donald J. Trump. And he just said today that people who are coming demonstrate in front of the White House, and he asked his supporter to show up with the guns and everything, that they have a full arsenal. So look at, he is fueling the civil war. He is the main problem, and he did this false flag operation to distract us from the election, distract us from, I tell you on the air, there's not going to be election in the United States. And he wanted for a long time to call martial law. So this is the way calling martial law in the United States. So that little bit freedom that we all had after COVID-19, you could only go a few places, come back home. Now, in California, they said shelter in place again. So right now in California, as I'm seeing right now live, that all freeways are empty again. So right now, Columbus, Ohio is burning as we speak. Chicago is burning again. They have burned a lot of police cars as we speak. Tonight is going to be another night with 60 to 70 or more, up to 100 cities will be rioting tonight. So this is something I wanted to share with you.
Wow.
But go ahead, sir. Go ahead, ma'am, please.
That's deep, what you're saying, and it makes sense, because we have to look at the confusion and the chaos and all the things that people are not looking at his energy. His energy started this when he started on the campaign trail. When Trump started on the campaign trail, he went from city to city, and everywhere he went, there was nothing but chaos and mayhem and all that craziness. And then since he's been in office, it's just crazy. His energy is crazy. He don't give a darn. So for you to say that just makes my heart it just makes me sad. And so, and if that's the case, Jesus help us. Lord help us. God help us. God help us.
And that's been said constantly, though. Energy is everything. Energy is everything.
Now I want to say something.
So we have another caller. Is this a 975 caller? Who is this? Who just spoke?
Well, this is New Orleans. This is New Orleans.
Whose number has 9? Okay, whose number has 975 in it?
Mine does.
Okay, so did you have something that you wanted to add to the conversation? I'm gonna mute everybody so you can speak.
To be honest with you, I dropped into the conversation not knowing what you guys were talking about. I'm assuming it's about George Floyd.
Right.
I think that people around our age are definitely appalled by what happened. But for me, it feels reminiscent of what's to be expected. I think that we get too comfortable with the little bits and the little pieces that we're handed in the name of civil rights or equality. And once we do get quiet and we get content, then all of this stuff starts happening. But I think that now is different. It seems to me that people are really tired, and I think a lot of it probably had to do with the blatant look on the cop's face when he was kneeling on George's neck. It was just, I'm going to defy every law or every thought or every moral that you could think of, and I'm going to do this in your face, and you're not going to do nothing. And what would have happened if all them people stormed the police? You know, what would have happened if the crowd that was begging the police to stop felt empowered enough to just rush those 4 cops? I don't know. I don't even know if I would be brave enough to do it.
You know, I saw where there were some that was trying to advance and saying that's enough, and he pulled out his mace can, meaning that if you come near me, I'm going to mace you. So the protesters or the viewers or the people who were out there probably wanted to, because I heard them saying, like, that's enough, like, get off of him, this, that, and the other. And someone must have took a step towards him because he pulled out his can of mace.
It would be the same thing, I guess, that we're able to say what we can think to do in a catastrophe. You know, what if the entire crowd as a unity ran up on the police? You know what I mean? Like now, you know, all over the United States, people are working together at the same time. That's what's causing the problem. That's what's making them upset, is because people are starting to get on the same page. So if that entire crowd, you know, could have somehow stormed those police, I don't know. You know, there's always a bunch of ifs and what ifs and how something else could have been. But I just feel like...
But the problem is, if what the gentleman who just called in from... and I forget where he said from out of the country. If what he said is true, then us working together, we are working together, but we're working together into the very plot of what they want. So if the whole plan is to get us to act out so they can have a reason to bring in martial law and to kill people and do all that kind of crazy stuff, then we have fallen right into their hands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have been using it as puppets and weapons against ourselves. Been saying it.
Yes,
been saying that.
And I said something.
Yes, you sure may.
You know, yes, I appreciate your show. Is great. You know, we invite people to have a peaceful as much as they can. But if we fall into their trap, that's end of America. And they can do, as he said, he's going to bring his army that came from Syria, his army came from Afghanistan, his army came from Saudi Arabia, and mostly, how do we know that most of these people are not foreign troops already in United States? So, you know, and they are the one who's going to shoot to kill Americans. But, you know, because it's very hard for American soldiers to shoot and kill Americans, as we already know. So, very well. That's why he took. It takes a long time to activate it just for Minnesota, because they're bringing other people. I mean, you see, they put a special mask on it. You don't know who the hell they are. Are they from, you know, from Muslim countries that they're hungry to kill Americans, and they give them a license to go ahead and kill Americans, and there will be bloodshed, and this is what exactly they want. This is what exactly narcissist Donald Trump wants. This is what exactly he wants to be commander-in-chief forever. There's not going to be election in the United States of America, and the stock market is going to crash 3,000 points on Monday. Go ahead, please.
Okay. There you have it.
That is so deep. So basically, like I said, hate can never conquer hate. And violence is not going to lead anywhere except for further destruction, which is what I said. I always believed that. I always felt that. I always knew that. And to see our cities burning like that and our young people out there, because for them, they're defending what they believe is right, which they have every right to feel that way, but they're falling directly into the trap of what they want. So violence is not the answer.
But that's the only way they know how to defend it. That's the only way they know.
That's where I said the leaders in this country, okay, if it ain't going to be, if that's this administration's agenda, then it's going to take the other leaders. Other leaders are going to have to come into play, and they're going to have to come together, and they're going to have to figure out a solution. One solution, for one, is to get those 4 officers and bring them in. That will start the beginning of the peace, because that's the main thing that they want. They want all the officers to be charged. That's what they want. Not just that one, but the other ones, because you got too many cases where people who have watched somebody get killed, the police charge all of them. So what's the difference with an officer killing someone and his offers, all the officers watching? They need to bring those people in. That will begin the peace. That will begin everybody chilling out. They want all of them, not just one. That's the big thing. Secondly, the leaders need to get together and figure out how to bring peace, because otherwise we're going to land right into their trap. And like he said, we're going to have a civil war here. And like he said, it's going to be martial law here. And like he said, we're going to lose more lives. And like he said, it's going to be mayhem in America, and America will never return back to where it was. Without a doubt, I believe him.
It's not going to. Prepare for it. All you got to do at this point, all you can do at this point is prepare for it. And that's the part. That's the part that
because
people don't want to
that's like
accept.
just sitting back and not trying to do anything. These pastors who have been building these big churches, they need to get together. They need to pick something.
Well,
you have to prepare for it.
In the state of Ohio.
Let's talk one at a time, because we can't one at a time.
Okay, and I know, like right now, as we're speaking, the governor of Ohio just issued for the National Guard to come in and to protect the people. And our mayor, Andrew Luther, just said we just got put on the time. No one out from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Anyone caught will be arrested.
And that's crazy because my children are at work. They don't even get off until my 2 kids don't even get off until 11 o'clock. So I don't know how that's going to be.
I don't either. But you know what? The guy from New Orleans, is he still on the line? Because he was trying to say something and we got caught up in our moment.
No, I think he no, I don't see him anymore. I don't see him anymore. But I appreciate him for chiming in and I appreciate everybody for chiming in. This is major. This is serious. The first thing we need to the leaders, I don't care what nobody says, somebody has to take leadership. Somebody has to figure out how to start calming people down. And these police stations, I don't even know what the heck I don't even understand what Minnesota, like, I don't even understand it. Like, why are you not getting all of them? You know how to start to collect the peace. You're too busy. No, we need to do it this way. This is not one of them kind of times. Go ahead and get them people, charge them, do your due process, let them go through court, whatever, but at least that's going to bring some closure because that's what the people want. They're tired of what's been going on. So you're not going to be able to talk sense to them until you do the right thing, which is bringing them other officers that was there and charge everybody, and then let's take it from there. But if they don't, oh, Jesus, Lord God, please help. Please send your angels from north, south, east, and west. Please, Lord Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean, those scores, though. You got to go back through history. You're gonna have to
I'm gonna go back through
entire history.
Hold on, I'm gonna start with you, Kim, so everybody can say something. So I'm gonna mute everybody but you, Kim, so you can say what you gotta say, and then I'm gonna go on down the line so everybody gets a chance to speak, talking over each other. So give me 1 second. I'm going to mute everybody, and then one by one, I'm gonna let everybody mute you so that you can say whatever it is that you feel like you want to say in these last few minutes because we're starting to run out of time. So, Kim, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to make it quick. All I'm saying is that you can't stop with the four police officers because there's a history of this. So if the four get handled properly, then you got to go to the previous ones. Then you got to go to the previous ones. Then you got to go to the previous ones. You know how long that's going to actually take? You think that they're going to actually do that? They're not. If they take care of these four, it's only to pacify the people for a moment. Again, another distraction until they get something else, another part of the agenda moving forward. If we keep being distracted, we are easily pacified, easily put into submission. Black people like dazzling things. We like things that glitter. We like things that make money. We like the look of money. Give them something to pacify them right now. Make them shut the hell up right now. Give them what they want right now. And in the meantime, this is what we're going to do. So even if it's put in your face as if they have made the situation or that they have resolved the situation, you can trust and believe that is another distraction. They're not going to get everybody that has wronged us. There is not going to happen. Just prepare for the war. Whether you like it or not, prepare. It's going down. You can mute me now.
Well, I don't know about going back and righting the wrongs of the past. I don't know about that. But present, because I'm living in the present right now, I can't look back at yesterday. Although we can mourn those deaths, there's nothing we can do to change what happened then. They're not going to bring them back on charges. They're not going to do that. I'm talking about today. What they need to do today for this situation right now that is causing this mayhem right now, they need to bring the other officers in and go through the due process. That would at least, it's not even about pacifying. We have to find a way to bring peace in this land. How, by any means necessary. You have to fix the problem, and that's true. That's a long time. Right, okay, but we don't got time for that because right now we got buildings burning right now. We got to face what's going on today. You can worry about the past later on, but right now we need to pacify what's going on right now.
No, we don't need to pacify nothing. Mute me, girl. Mute me, child, because I'm going to be talking.
Well, pacify might not be the right word, but I'm going to mute you, Kim, because I understand. I understand. But I'm just saying we got to deal with what's going on today. We got to deal with what's going on today. We cannot do anything about what happened yesterday right now, because what happened yesterday is not. We can't do nothing about yesterday. We have to move forward. We have to deal with the present so that we can change the future. So right now, they need to get those officers, and they need to do what they would do to any other citizen who witnessed or did the same thing. Just like in Brunswick, they brought the one that was videotaping in, and they put charges on him as well as the one who did the shooting. Why? Because he witnessed it. He was there. Whether or not he was part of it or not, he witnessed it. He didn't do anything to stop it. The same thing with these officers. The one law is supposed to apply for everybody. It's not supposed to be just for certain situations, so they need to bring them officers in. That would be the beginning, because that's what the people are saying right now, today. They're saying we want justice. They want those other officers. They want all of them brought in, and they have that right. We need to do that, too, and then we can start working on building the peace back. And then after you build the peace back, then you can go back and try to fix some stuff that happened yesterday. But right now, we need to deal with what's going on right now. So I'm going to mute myself, because I know I'm like you, Kim, and I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the next one and let him have his piece.
Yes.
All right, so you have the floor.
Yes, I appreciate your show. I appreciate all your listeners. I appreciate the good top panels that we have today. I mean, the old autopsy reveals George Floyd did not die of asphyxia or strangulations, but he had serious heart. He had coronary artery and hypertensive heart disease. And also, at the same time, with which permission they have released his body to the lawyers, to another autopsy report from the lawyers of the police that is charged with murder. And who the hell they have done? I mean, why the body still is not nowhere shown? There is, everything is a fake. Everything you saw, it was a fake. It was false flag operations totally. And as a result, this is what happened. And they're not going to basically to arrest the other three, or slowly they're going to do it. They're going to piss the people off more and more. And there's our house will be on the fire. I mean, United States of America will be fire, and they're going to crash the stock market. And on top of it, COVID-19, mass unemployment, and the Great Depression. On top of it, everything, So they will basically, Donald J. Trump is narcissist, and he is going to make America great again. No, he is going to make America shit again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being a part of our conversation. So we're going to go down to the next person that I have muted here, which is the 622 number. You have the floor. Your number starts with 622.
That would be our Marie.
Is that you, Marie?
Yes. Your number would be 6. Anywho, I feel like my solution, one of the solutions, because when we're talking about the problem, we're hearing the anger, but I feel like one of the solutions is we must get out and vote. And I do feel like the guy from New Orleans was saying, and Kim, two people were saying that, that's what they're trying to do, stop the process of us from voting, and the gentleman that just got off. But my thing is this, we must vote, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, hail. We got to vote. And that's just a fact, because our legislation that we are paying our tax-paying money on, you know, and our city leaders, we by ourselves cannot do it. Even if we go against, you know, the police, one, you're not going to win. Two, you're not going to win simply because if the police do start having any issues of handling the neighborhoods and the riots and the protesters, they're definitely going to call in the military, and you're definitely not going to win from the military. That's a definite. That is a definite. But if you make these legislators get off their ass, because that's who we voted for, and you make these people in office sit up there and oppose to their jobs, it's got to be more than these perks and benefits and nice vacation spots, and you get to go and go to White House and listen and not say nothing, but you're getting paid to do a job. You took an oath to do a job. Now, everybody's not going to do what they're supposed to be doing, but we got too many slackers. We got too many people of color that are dying by the hands of officers who are sworn in to protect and serve. So, I mean, does that mean all the police officers are corrupted? No, it doesn't. And it does put a huge dent on officers who's out here to actually protect and serve. Not all officers are horrible people, but when you all it takes is a few bad apples to spoil the bunch. That's what it takes. And right now, you got a lot of America who don't even trust the police. You got some that would rather handle their problems if an occasion rises to. You would rather deal with it yourself or call your family or your boys or whoever than to call the police. You know, and it's sad. It's sad that my tax-paying dollars is paying for officers like that officer that killed Mr. Floyd that he knew, you know, and I do agree with you on that, Tricia. There's no way you can say, oh, I didn't know him. Even if they never hung out, even if they never spoke. I mean, I'm thinking maybe it was a dispute or disagreement, because how do you do somebody like that you know to keep the crowd down? You know, their job is to make sure there's nothing going on. But the fact that they said, as, you know, the reporters start depicting through this officer's lifestyle, he's been reprimanded 18 times. He only got in trouble for 2. Out of 18? Who do you know? Is your grandfather the chief? Who do you know there? Why have you not been disciplined? Why are you even still a cop? Because everybody knows if you are an accomplice with somebody who's doing a crime, whether you did it or not, if you are an accomplice, you will all get charged with that same crime. You will all be tried with that same crime. They did actually fire all 4 of the officers, and they have brought the officer that killed the boy up on murder charges, you know, but the other 3 are going to be held accountable, but they're not going to charge them for murder because they didn't do it. They didn't do their job to protect the community. They did not do that either. So, yes, they should be charged with something, but they got the person, and coming out here just tearing up everything, we got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be a long time before we can even get back to a place that we can even call normal. COVID already shut it down for a while, but when you add all this rioting and violence and looting, to me, now you're doing this for self-purposes. We have got to put looting. That's not what the message is about. I know you're angry. I'm angry. But we need to put the people who are getting paid to be accountable to make sure our city runs smoothly. These are the people that we need to come after. These are the people, and the way you go after them, because right around, July, August, September, close to election, 3 months, 4 months from election, you're going to see all of their ads coming on TV, coming through the mail, coming everywhere, emails, everything. This is where you do your homework. Well, you've been on legislation for 5, 6 years, and so many of these things have happened. What have you done to try to stop this police brutality? What have you done?
Right.
That's all I got.
So, you know it's my turn. I know, Kim. I got you on you, Kim. Kim, I know. But let me just say this, right? We all know, if you don't know, you had to have heard that we the people in the United States, we the people, the taxpayers, the people who do go out and vote, all of them, we did not vote for Trump. We did not elect him. The electoral votes of these whatever bureaucratic BS that they got is the ones that chose him. So when it comes down to election time, we're going to need them same electoral BS bullshit votes people to get him up out of there and put somebody else in there, because he is destroying our country. And if you can't see it, if you can't recognize it, I don't know what to say for you. Everybody who can vote needs to vote. But at the bottom core, we didn't vote him in from the get-up. So whoever is in charge of these electoral, these different states, these different senators, whatever the hell, if you don't want a civil war on your hands and you don't want a crazy president, we'll be living in caves with another 4 years. Look what has happened in just the 4 years that he has been in office. Just the 4 years he's been in office. And better yet, even before he got in office, look what hate and racism did the 4 years before that. Because when we got a black president, all of a sudden the whole world went crazy. But all those who were racist, they went crazy. And so what was under the surface came to light in the craziest way when we got a black president. So now, like, they put in this one right, this president right here, and this one has some type of different plans, because we already know we tried to impeach him because he was doing stuff with other countries that he wasn't supposed to be doing. So y'all let him stay in office, and now we're on the edge of a civil war, and we're about to have an election, and they're trying to do everything they can to stop having an election. Why? Because you don't want America to be what America's supposed to be, a land of the free. Like, somebody, legislation, these churches. I don't care. I don't agree with not. Somebody has to take leadership, and it has to be like Marie said. These people that we're paying, y'all get off y'all asses and get out your racist, emotional feelings. Like Kim said, get out your feelings and restore peace in our land, and do what you know needs to be done to restore that peace. I don't give a darn. Because sooner or later, those flames ain't gonna just be in the hood. They gonna come to your neighborhood. They gonna be in They gonna be in the suburbs. They gonna be around. They already got them on Washington's front yard. What's gonna stop them from coming to your lawn? I don't give a damn how much you pay for your house. I don't care what neighborhood you live in. If they don't control what's going on, it's coming to your front door. So you need to figure out what you need to do to restore peace in this land. And if that means all you got to do is arrest those other officers and start working on new policies for the police officers and making sure that they're supposed to protect the country, protect people, protect the citizens, but they're battering, they're destroying, they're killing, like, you got to have policies so that they know that they cannot do that. You can't just go killing people. And in all honesty, the police are not just doing it to African Americans. They're doing it to minorities. They're even doing it to white people. They have no control. They are out of control. So y'all have got to take care of y'all problem. Like Kim said, this is your problem. Take care of it. All of you governors, senators, all of y'all people, y'all better do like we did. Do like On The Move Unscripted on Purpose did. Call an emergency meeting and figure out how you're going to restore peace in this land before it gets to the point where it can't be taken, it can't be controlled. Like, Jesus. For all of y'all, for anyone who has a family member who's out there setting stuff on fire or looting or whatever, if it's time to pull them back in, because we are falling into their hands. And if this doesn't stop, the president, Trump, is going to call in, like he said, forces from other places who won't give a damn about shooting your baby. They're going to bring them in, and instead of you having a protesting child or cousin or uncle or sister or mother who's just trying to do what's right, you're going to be burying them because they're not going to give a damn. So They need to restore peace, and they need to do it by any means necessary. If that means pulling them guys in, pull them in. If that means having an emergency meeting so y'all leaders can figure out what the fuck and get this man up out of there, vote. But not just vote. The electoral colleges need to make sure they get him out of there because that's what the hell we're paying him for. That's what I feel. We've got to restore the peace. We've got to restore the peace, and we've got to do it. And we've got to worry about what's going on right now. You cannot destroy the community and all that kind of stuff and think that this president is not going to retaliate because he already don't give a damn about you. Pull your family members back in. Tell them it's time to let go, come back, and let's regroup, figure out how we're going to do this or whatever. The police stations, go get Minnesota, Minneapolis. Go get them other officers, pull them in, and let them go through the process like every other American has to do when they are caught in the act of a crime, or they were with the people who did the crime. Do what you do to the rest of the people. Don't allow the police officers to think that they have that kind of control, because that is what has gotten us right here today. And I'm just talking about the police brutality right now. We're tearing up the country, and we're turning into a third world country. If you can't see it, I don't know what to say. Y'all keep talking about martial law. They keep speaking these words into the atmosphere. You've been speaking them for a long time, so now it's at your front door. So what you going to do? You're going to continue to be on there, do what they want you to do, or are you going to figure it out, understand, come back, and let's read the country, let's figure it out. The leaders get together, these people we paying, get together, figure out what you're going to do an emergency conference, something. Because if you don't, you're going to be, we're going to have like a Hitler type situation going on, dealing with what's going on right now. Like, it's just crazy. So that's basically what I had to say. So I'm going to unmute so we can say our last, goodbyes and praise. And I just pray. I pray, God, just send your angels from the north, south, east, and west. Send your angels. Send them into the places that they need to go. Speak into the ears of the people whose ears you know they need to hear. Do whatever needs to be done, God, to restore peace in our land and to turn this situation around. Because I know only you have the power to do that. Only you. You said that if I ask anything in your name, the Bible says it, we've heard it, we've spoken, we believed it. Anything that you said, when two or more people come together, you are always in the midst. You said, if I ask anything in your name, you shall do it. It shall be done. So I pray as all the people are on this line and as we are on the move unscripted, because you have given us this platform for a reason. God, send your angels, send the people, whatever needs to be done to restore peace in our land and remove all those whose heart is not pure and whose hearts are evil. Remove those people and replace them. Put other people in those positions who will do your will, because right now we know that this is not your will. We know violence is not your will. We know the bloodshed is not your will. We know that's not your will. So please do whatever needs to be done in Jesus' holy name. I pray, God. I pray with everything in me. You know, when I come to you like this in prayer, I mean it from the bottom of my soul, God. Do what it is that we need to be done, so that we can restore back the peace in our land. And so there's not go further down the wrong road, because that's the only, I see it, and it frightens me. And so I just pray, God, restore the peace. Remove all those who don't need to be there and replace them with the ones who will do what is best for the people and whose lives are governed by your will. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So I don't know what else to say.
Amen.
I don't know what else we
can I say something
except
quickly?
for I just pray. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I do apologize. Until unity of mankind does not establish for the whole nations, and including United States of America, we came all from the same image of God, according to Jesus Christ, according to many scriptures. So we are all gods, and we have to treat each other like you treat the God. I mean, unless, we realize that we have one planet, one people, and unless the racism fully is abolished from United States from 400 years ago to up to today, and it's not only for blacks, it's for Middle Eastern, it's for Chinese, for all yellow, red, color, etc. I mean, we have going to have more bloodshed, and this is what exactly as I see right now, blazing press, YouTube. Right now, the car's on fire. I don't know where it is. I was probably it's one of those major cities. And so, I mean, this is exactly what they want. And within less than a week, we are going to go to a full martial law and the end of America. This is, they are playing us, and we are falling for their hands. This is madness, should be stopped ASAP. And as you said, due process of the law, let these people go through the due process of law. Hopefully we get justice, but they're not going to repeat this, hopefully, next time, because they know what will happen again. But, you know, this is a psychological warfare and a 5G network. Every city that they have, this is what happens. This is a psychological warfare, and they did it to us as a forceful oppression. And what is going on? We are going to either fall in their hands or say, no. We know exactly what you're doing. Everybody needs to have a peaceful demonstration only, and eventually people need to go home. Otherwise, we are doomed altogether. Either we be hanged together or hanged separately. Thomas Jefferson said that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I just want to thank everybody for, thank you, Kim, for calling this emergency meeting, because you're right, it needed to be done. So I thank you for calling this emergency meeting, this emergency show. I pray, it's my prayer that there were people who were listening in high places who will be activated by the conversation today. And if not, they know somebody who listened to it that'll tell them, or someone will come across it on accident, just like the callers did, and it'll activate them. So I appreciate you, Kim, for being the leader that you are and saying, let's talk about this, because you never know who's really listening. So I thank you for that, Kim. Thank you, Marie, for because I know you were not feeling well, but you pushed through it. I appreciate you for taking the time to come on and address this. I thank the two callers that called in for, even wanting to put your input. Your three callers. Yeah. Thank you for all of y'all that called in. So that lets you know the state of where we're at right now. And everybody feels this energy right now that's going on. And everybody understands that if something doesn't happen, no matter whose side you're on, if something doesn't happen, things can only get worse from here. That's a definite. We all agree on that. So whatever needs to be done, I pray that it's done. So I just wanted to say that. So Kim, if you want to close it out by saying, whatever words of peace that you can think of to say, and then we're going to go ahead and end the show. You see, I said the words of peace. You see, because
I heard
peace.
That. That's why I giggled. So the only thing I can say. So the only thing that I can say for that is, it is important to raise your vibration. 963 megahertz is God frequency. Raise your vibration. That's the only way things will begin to change, is if you think differently, if you operate differently, if you operate on the vibration of the Most High, period. That's anybody. Raise your vibration. And you already know what I say every day is, I love you on purpose with purpose. And we got a major purpose right now. I love you on purpose with purpose. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, I love you on purpose with purpose. We love y'all on purpose with purpose. Make sure y'all tune in to On The Move
On The Move Unscripted on Purpose every Thursday from 8 to 10. And then, of course, I'm with B Love, the comedian, on Mondays, which I can't wait to see what B Love got to say about this, because I already know B Love going to go in. So on Mondays from 8 to 10. And then, of course, we'll be back with another interview for this coming Tuesday. Don Capers, artist, will be on Tuesday with me and Mr. Stout from 8 to 10. So definitely y'all come back. But until then, the one thing that we all need to do is just pray over our country and just pray that whatever needs to be done to restore peace will be done in whatever way it needs to be done, in a way that we will be healthy, happy, and be able to restore our country back to the way that it needs to be, so that we become the leaders again, because right now we're at the bottom of the list in so many different ways. So we just pray for peace, please. If you're out there right now protesting, it's time to go home. And don't think of it as defeat, but understand that it's necessary. And for all the officers and people who are in control, do what's right. Do what you know is right. If it was your son or your brother or your father who was on that ground and they had their foot or their knee on his neck, what would you want for the people that were a part of that? What would you want? Do what you know is the right thing to do, and the rest, everything else will start to fall in place. But until next week, we love you with purpose, on purpose, as Kim says, on the move, unscripted, on purpose. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Through the years, there were times I felt like I was losing my mind. Never thought I'd get to this place where I'd find the peace inside. In the darkness, I found my light. I found peace in the tears I've cried. Now I've got a million reasons for life. We can rise if we don't fall, nah, nah. If you're low, now lift your head higher. What's yours, no one can take away. Thank God in every way. Now I see better days, better days. Only better days, better days. We can rise if we don't fall, nah, nah. All the pain, it made me grow stronger. I see better days, better days. Only better days, better days. I remember the times I felt like there was no hope inside. But even when it hurt, I found my worth in the faith to strive. In the darkness, I found my light. I found peace in the tears I've cried. Now I've got a million reasons for life. We can rise if we don't fall, nah, nah. If you're low, now lift your head higher. What's yours, no one can take away. Thank God in every way. Now I see better